Hey everyone, back doing top 10 my favorite movies of the year. Once again, this is all subjective. If you have a top 10, go out of your way and tell everyone what theirs is. This is mine. Unfortunately, Jeff couldn't be here this week, so he's probably going to do his video next week. Probably by himself. Let him try it out. This is my top 10 favorite movies of the year for 2017, and it was a year. We saw a lot of movies. We would go from one movie theater literally running to a second movie theater. We were running inside the same movie theater, seeing multiple movies. This was actually a pretty good year for movies. Not a good year for blockbuster movies, but this is a good year for movies. We got to see a lot of good middle marketed movies that didn't cost that much. We got to see a lot of independent movies that definitely deserve more hype than they're gonna get. We saw a lot of everything in between. We saw the blockbusters, we saw the middle movies, we saw the independent movies. So this is my list, so this is where I go. Let's have my first and only honorable mention. This actually list was hard to whittle down to 10. I actually had it at 12 at one point. Let's keep it at the standard 10. So let's go. I'm only going to do one honorable mention, and it's going to be none other than The Lost City of Z. It kind of hurts not to put this on my top 10, but there are a bunch of other movies that I liked more than this movie, even though this is a movie I saw several times in theaters and I own it on Blu-ray, so it just quite didn't make it for me. So with that said, let's go to number 10. Number 10, Colossal. Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis absolutely rip it up in this movie. The basic story is a movie about a drunk who goes back to her hometown, Smallville, Nowhereville, and meets up with old drinking buddies and new drinking buddies, and realizes that when she gets drunk at a certain time in a certain place, that her spirit will open up a kaiju in South Korea. In Seoul, South Korea, and causes massive havoc. This movie is amazing. The kaiju and the robot later on in the movie are very good. Anne Hathaway is really good as this drunk that is causing all types of damage all over the place. This movie speaks to you about the poison of abuse and what it does to other people without beating you over the head on it. I love this movie. I just wish the ending sort of disappointed me the last 5-6 minutes, but the last joke of the movie, a sure winner. If you haven't heard of this movie, go out of your way to see it. It kind of makes me scratch my head. If you saw the movie, you know what that meant. Number 9. Number 9, The Founder. Have you ever wondered about the story of McDonald's? No, but this is what we got. Michael Keaton as Ray Kroc, who puts one over on the McDonald's brothers and makes McDonald's what it becomes and what it is today. It's a beautiful story. It's too bad it got dumped in January when no one really saw it. I guarantee you, go out of your way to watch it. It's a very interesting movie. This is a movie that actually can start debate whether Ray Wise was doing whether Michael Keaton's character was doing something good or something very evil. I'm not gonna lie, 2/3 of the way through the movie, I wanted to punch Michael Keaton in the face. He was upsetting me so much, but I never wanted to stop watching. This movie's amazing. Try to find it. It is absolutely worth it. Great movie. Michael Keaton doesn't get enough credit for the acting he did in it, and the storytelling was absolutely beautiful about a scumbag who took over McDonald's. So that's all I have to say about that. That's number 9. Let's go to number 8. Number 8, Logan. I know a lot of people are going to give me shit because this is low on my list. Well, there's 2 reasons. One, not really a Logan fan. I'm not Wolverine or Logan fan, nor have I ever been. So I understand the journey, and I really do like this movie, and I like James Mangold, the director of this movie. I like his other 2 works a lot more, Walk the Line and 3:10 to Yuma. I didn't get emotional at all during this movie. I love the cinematography. I love Daphne X-23. Hugh Jackman was really good. Patrick Stewart was amazing in this movie. I just never felt any tears for this movie because Wolverine's not a character I care about. So that's what lowers it down on the list for me. Also, at the same time, I didn't like the fact that they switched out the bad guys about 2/3 of the way through to the scientists, and I was just like, eh. Yeah, it didn't do much for me. It is a good-looking movie, though. It is Wolverine finally the way we wanted him, using his claws and everything like that. The movie just didn't touch me. And I found actually a couple more superhero movies that were either better and I enjoyed more. Not to say if you like Logan, you're bad. I think Logan's a really good movie. That's why it's on this list. But it just didn't touch me. So I didn't pull the heartstrings. The only time I got emotional during this movie is the scene where the little girl saw Professor X's dead body, and at the end where X-23 takes the cross and turns it into an X. That's about it. Everything else was just like, oh, okay. That's just me though. So that's my number 8. Let's go to number 7. Number 7, Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh, this is the type of movie, I don't care what anyone says. I heard a lot of people say it's inexpensive, inconsequential, but that's why I like this movie. This movie was a teenage version of what Spider-Man is. That's about it. It's not about saving the world. It's not about the galaxy's gonna blow up. It's not any of that. This is just a local hero with probably the best Marvel bad guy to date, with once again Michael Keaton showing up on this list playing the Vulture. The scene where he's speaking to Peter and he's just like, you know, the Avengers, all of them, they don't care about us. We're the little guys. We should team up. Was a powerful scene. Hell, even the scene where he's driving him in the car with Liz and he's just sitting there being Michael Keaton. Amazing scene. I don't care if it's, oh, it doesn't have anything really, you know, consequential to the MC universe. I don't like the MC universe. I don't care. This movie was freaking awesome. This had it had an homage to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Of course, this kind of movie would. It had a very diverse cast. Tom Holland was excellent as Spider-Man. Finally, we get a Spider-Man who looks like he can be a high school student. This is a really good movie. I don't think you need to, like I said, I don't think you have to have a superhero movie every time where the goal is to save the universe. No. Because as they say, once you save the universe, where do you go from there? I like Spider-Man Homecoming a lot. That's why it's my number 7. Let's go to number 6. Number 6, Happy Death Day. Holy shit, talk about a movie that surprised me and how much I loved it and enjoyed it so much. This is that movie. I literally saw this movie like 5 times in theaters. It's basically the story of a girl by the name of Teresa who wakes up on the eve of her birthday after a wicked night of drinking, lives her life, and then gets killed at the end of the day, and then has to come back to live the day. But each time she gets killed, she feels how she was killed the previous day. This movie's on my list because not only was it shockingly good, it was amazing in the fact that I've never seen a slasher movie where the movie cared about its characters. I laughed at this movie. I called her, foul names at the beginning because she was such a bitch. She found redemption in the middle of it. There's actually a scene that was actually kind of teary where she talks to her father about, you know, because she's estranged from her father because her mother died and they share the same birthday. And it was actually a very touching scene. There's another, the deaths were really good, the montages. Not only does it take the idea of Groundhog's Day and puts it into a comedy slash horror setting, but it plays with it and it does it really well. Jessica Rothe, I can't say enough about her in this movie. She freaking killed it. I would definitely love to see her in more major movies. The death montage is an absolute hilarious thing. Even I can't say enough about the scene where she thinks she finally realizes how to fix everything, and she comes out and she does the day the same way she does the whole time, but they're playing this song by Mother called Love Stuck. Love that scene. It's a sure winner. And I just like the whole movie in general. It was fun and it was quick to the point. There was no fuss, no muss. Probably one of the best times I had at the movie theater this year. Not gonna lie, so that's my number 6. Let's go to number 5. At number 5 is gonna be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Once again, another movie I don't think people appreciate as much as they should. I understand it does retread some of the stuff from the first one, i.e. they already learned to be a family in the first one, so why do they have to do it again? But I think enough of the storyline is dedicated to why the team is apart because they are on separate missions. But damn, this movie's freaking emotional. There's so much stuff. Like, some of the jokes don't land, but the ones that do land. But the emotional stuff is the stuff that got me. The scene with Yondu and Rocket Raccoon. The scene with Nebula, even though I still to this day hate James Gunn's brother ruining it. Nebula's scene where she explains a lot of her backstory is really good. The scene with Nebula and Gamora is a really emotional set piece. Even the part with Drax and Manta. I know a lot of people call it mean-spirited and nasty what he's doing to him, what he's doing to Mana, and a lot of the characters accept it, but if you really watch it, most of the times it's Gamora and just Drax by themselves. So it's not Batista being mean-spirited, he doesn't know any better. But even they have a really good scene where Batista's sitting there looking at Ego, and Nebula touches him and he's remembering a memory from seeing his daughter, and then she's the one feeling the sadness because that's her powers. That was a really good scene. The scene definitely with Ego and Star-Lord and Peter Quill, where he goes, where Ego confesses, he goes, oh, it gave me a hard time, putting that tumor in your mom's head. And as soon as you heard it, I remember being in the movie theater and the whole theater was just like, ah! And then Star-Lord waited no time to go, what? And started shooting him. Yeah, I kind of didn't like the fact that they turned Ego into your regular villain at the end, but it did have a couple good moments. The whole Pac-Man thing was really funny. Stuff like that, and of course, who's gonna forget the stuff with Yondu? Where do you start? Yondu was the MVP of this movie to me. Even just like Batista as Drax was the MVP of the first one, definitely Yondu is the MVP of this one. It was really good. We'll be saying, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all, forever. And of course his final line is, he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. Really good movie, really emotional movie, surprisingly for a superhero movie. And once again, I enjoy the fact that these people take place outside of the Marvel universe. I know they'll be in the next Avengers movie, but let's enjoy what we have for what we have right now. Let's go to number 4. Number 4. Wow, this is a really good year for horror movies. Number 4 is going to be Stephen King's It. This movie was, holy shit that this movie came out of nowhere. I never saw the original TV miniseries. I didn't read the book. I'm not even a big fan of Stephen King. Actually, I should be the opposite after seeing Dark Towers this year. But this movie was freaking amazing. I said it in my review. Actually, it was one of the first reviews where I started playing around with theatrics and stuff like that. But this movie was really good. I loved the kids in it. All of them were excellent to the T. I loved Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is a real winner. I hope he gets a bunch of more roles after this. He was freaking... He took Tim Curry's performance and he made it his own. He made the character his own. This is a really solid movie. I absolutely love the child acting, and you have to realize, think about all the child acting you saw and then watch this movie and realize not only was the child acting really good, but they had at times no one to play off but each other. I love the scene where the refrigerator opens up and Pennywise comes contorting out. That was a real good one. I love the handling of Beverly, the character. I kind of wish the 2 of the kids got more prominent, but with a cast of 6 kids, it's perfectly fine. This movie was really good. It's horror, suspense, all of that. Really good movie. I love the fact that they cut the book down the middle, where they're just doing the child stuff now. The adult stuff will come later, so this movie didn't weigh down. This movie was 2 hours long. I saw it 4 times, and not once was I ever bored. Matter of fact, there were times in the movies where I was like, holy shit, we're almost done. It, Chapter 1, really good. Go out of your way to see it. All I have to say, Pennywise, and you'll float too. Number 3. Number 3 is by far the funniest movie I think I've seen in years. Number 3 is going to be The Disaster Artist, starring James Franco and Dave Franco, the brothers, as they reenact it's based on the book The Disaster Artist by Greg, one of the main characters from The Room, and this is the story about the worst movie ever and how it was made. And James Franco as Tommy Wiseau was on point. I kid you not. He was hilarious, and he did a great Tommy Wiseau impersonation. Me and Jeff had just seen the Room, I believe, a week and a half earlier. We saw it on Thanksgiving, and we went in there knowing everything about The Room, and we were howling. Like, I literally hurt my leg. I'm in a boot right now. You can't tell because I'm not going to show it to you. I'm in a walking boot right now because I hurt my leg. Because I was stomping I had a pre-existing condition, so let's not get into that. This movie is hilarious. They reenacted scenes from The Room to the T, to the point where before the credits start, they show side-by-side comparisons, and it's on point. They also kind of don't make fun of Tommy. They make Tommy out to be this person he's trying to do something special, but his head is in all the wrong places. And they show a friendship, especially near the end. There's a scene where everyone's laughing at The Room and Tommy's pissed off, and Greg comes up, Greg Sesteria, played by Dave Franco here, and he tells them, doesn't matter if they're laughing, they're enjoying it. Look at what you're giving them. There's a lot of, while there is a lot of, narcissism in Tommy Wiseau's character, There is a lot of touching and tender moments in this movie. This movie is really funny too, though. Even Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen has a lot of good lines in this movie. I I do kind of think you have to see The Room to get all the jokes here, but you don't have to, because I know a number of people who have put this on #1 of the year and they've never seen The Room. So, but I think if you definitely see The Room, you will laugh even harder, because I know me and Jeff did, and we were freaking dying. So that's number 3. Let's go to number 2. At number 2, they keep asking me if I'm back, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm back. John Wick Chapter 2. You knew this was going to be on this list and high, so there's no shock here. The absolute best action movie of the year, bar none. Keanu Reeves absolutely rips it apart in this sequel. I saw this movie 5 times in theaters, 1 for free because I was at an advanced screening. And I saw it in 4DX, which is amazing, especially the beginning motorcycle scene. Holy shit. You thought seeing 80 some odd people die in the first one? No, this one is supposed to be only 110 deaths, but I don't think they're counting right, because they're not counting the stuff at the beginning. This is everything you wanted a sequel to be. Bigger, bigger, better. The choreography was completely different than the first one. No action scenes get repeated. This is an absolute tour de force. We have great roles by Ian McShane coming back as the person in charge of the Continental, and god damn it, I love it every time he says excommunicato. Common, who plays a rival hitman, going after John Wick because the fact that he killed his owner, including fight scenes in an elevator, fight scenes in a subway that is really good. There's a shootout in the middle of a train station that is absolutely hilarious. They even have a fight scene on stairs that makes you freaking... I saw it in 4DX, and when they tumble down the stairs, I got the best back massage in the known universe. Ruby Rose is it as a silent assassin, which is great, because I don't have to hear it talk after watching Resident Evil Apocalypse, or Resident Evil Final Chapter, and in XXX Xander Cage. But John Leguizamo is only in one scene and he's hysterical, but forget all that. This is Keanu Reeves' show, and he absolutely shows that he is the action star for the last 30 years. His fight choreography in this movie is awesome. The fact that he can go long scenes, amazing. And the fact that because he's getting everyone thrown at him, he looks as exhausted as you'll feel by the end of the movie. Yeah, this is my number 2 without a shadow of a doubt. And if you don't like it, tell them. Tell them all. I'll kill them. I'll kill them all. Number 1. And at number 1 is going to be The Shape of Water. Guillermo del Toro's latest tour de force is absolutely breathtaking. This is a sci-fi, fantasy, love movie, horror movie, monster movie, all rolled into one. And all under the careful eye of Guillermo del Toro. This movie is beautiful to look at. This movie looks like it should have cost as much money as any of the other previous entries on this list that spent millions of dollars. And this is probably the second cheapest one. I think The Disaster Artist is the cheapest. But this movie is gorgeous. Doug Jones as the fish creature, amazing. Sally Hawkins as a mute girl who falls in love with a fish creature, absolutely. And this is an absolute ode to movies as well. Being in there, either watching old movies. She lives on top of a theater that plays, well, the movie takes place in the 60s, plays 50s movies. The fact that there's a musical in the middle of the movie where it's absolutely not absurd to see a fish man having a ballroom dance with the main character. The prosthetics on this movie look absolutely amazing. It makes me wonder what would have happened if Del Toro would have got to do the prequels for the Hobbit movies, because those movies went CGI crazy. This movie's really good. It's a really sweet story. It's a really sweet love story, showing that, you know, everyone has their significant other. Michael Shannon plays a great sociopath. Well, there's a shocker there. This movie is a severe winner. Go out of your way to see it. I'm glad Del Toro is getting a lot of recognition. I like him as a director, because you can absolutely tell when he's directing something. So go out of your way and watch it. That's my top 10. I thank everyone who's watching. Be kind to each other, and if you agree, disagree, throw some comments at the bottom, and until next time, bye.